Okay, and we are live. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Roger Silveri here on behalf of the Empowered Lifestyle Hour and our colleagues. We want to welcome you tonight to season number one and show number three here. And tonight is going to be a very, 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 and I mean very special night. So you guys have watched the first two shows, and we're truly just ecstatic about the kind of content that we're putting out there. But also for you as our listening viewer, all right, we want to empower you with different elements, from money to relationships to mindset. And tonight we've got a killer topic. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And if you heard that term before, it sounds like a little play on words, but I'm telling you, you really truly understand what that means tonight when Mr. Larry Beacham, one of my dearest friends and one of the most iconic marketers that is inside the online marketing niche, is going to be sharing his blessings with us tonight. So you guys are in for a treat. A little bit of housekeeping rules, guys. Understand that you are here to be empowered. And so one of the things we want to do is have you guys take some notes, okay? We don't know if there's going to be a replay, so don't be asking us about the replay. We'll decide that at the end of the show. At the end of the day, all we want to do is have you be open-minded to the information that's going to be disseminated tonight. With that said, I want to introduce my colleagues first and foremost. I want to actually start on my left, way on the left, with the lovely Keisha Sumner out of Maryland. How you doing, sis?
Hey, Mr. Silvera. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad. I'm so happy to be here. We get to have Larry Beacham on. This is so exciting. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Keisha Sumner. I also go by the Ivy Marketing Mogul. I'm not sure if I'm going to tell a little bit of my story now or later, but just for those of you who know, I'm an ex-corporate professional who wanted to escape the rat race and love health and wellness, and was looking for a way to, make some money from home, and then, see if I could actually do this full time. And sure enough, I made it here. So really excited to be here with my colleagues. Really excited that we have such incredible guests on the line today. So, definitely be a part of the conversation. Ask questions and some awesome notes. We're giving you a lot of information tonight. So back over to you, Roger.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we're going to get into our stories a little bit later in the show, and I want to go down the line and to the lovely Miss Victoria Blanco, which blessed us with her phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal. I don't know where the hell that came from, but that thing was just beast. Man, it was awesome. So, Victoria, welcome, sis, and we are looking forward to tonight and your insights as well.
Hey everybody, this is Victoria Blanco, a wife and mother of two, and I'm just really excited. I just want to get to the content tonight because 45 minutes with Larry changed my life, so I know you guys are definitely going to love this. So
Awesome.
I'm going to kick it on back over to Roger to get this thing started.
Awesome. And then obviously not to be last. Obviously, she's one of the pioneers of this particular movement, and it is a movement for that matter. Miss Yamina Hall out of Texas. How you doing, sis?
Hey. I am wonderful. I am so excited to have Mr. Larry Beacham here tonight. It's going to be an awesome evening. Y'all better have y'all pens and papers in hand and take some notes. Because like Roger said, we don't know if this is going to be replayed. So if you miss it, you just miss it. But single mom out of Texas, internet marketingpreneur, single mom business coach, and I'm just so happy about tonight, this platform and what we are going to be sharing with you guys tonight. So yeah, I'm just ready to get it started too, like Victoria said, and can't wait to get everything going. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Roger.
Awesome. Well, guys, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of tonight, and we're just going to allow Mr. Larry Beacham to go ahead and bless us with his knowledge, his expertise. And the topic tonight is very simple. Actually, let me just shut this off real quick. All right, perfect. The topic tonight is very simple, the money blueprint. Okay, how do 6 and 7 figure earners look at money from a different perspective? You see, there's 97% and then there's the 3%. And how do the 3% consistently win in the money game? How do they attract money? How do they look at money? Because there's a discipline to money. You know, as being a financial professional for 15 years, I see a lot of people that make a lot of money but have no clue on how to keep it. So it's kind of like in and out, in and out, in and out. And so there has to be some principles set internally for you to allow you to keep that within your grasp. And so tonight I wanted to have Larry on because Larry's one of the most thoughtful, the most visionary people that I've ever met. And not only is he an unbelievable marketer, I was trying to find the word for it, but an unmarketer, but he is also an exceptional entrepreneur and a very, very, very good steward of his resources. And so Larry's going to touch on tonight some of his principles and what he does. And so I'm going to let him get into his story and where he came from to where he is now. And guys, this is really an opportunity for you to learn from somebody that has truly blessed a ton of people. Okay? And so with that said, my friend, good friend, Larry Beacham, man, I love you, brother. I'm looking forward to tonight, man.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, bro. I appreciate you. Just do a quick mic check. Can everybody hear me just fine?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this opportunity. You know, when we come upon information like what we're going to talk about tonight, the tendency is for people to tune out and believe that they're going to hear the same old thing. Be an expectation of something fresh and new, or if you hear something that is similar to what you've heard before, expect it to hit your spirit quite differently than it's done before. So Roger asked me to come out tonight and share some information about the money blueprint and tell a little bit of my story. So let me tell a little bit of my story and then let's move into the money blueprint. For those that don't know me, I've been online as a professional marketer since 2000, well, officially full-time since 2010. I joined the world of internet marketing back in 2009, right when I was trying to get into cable or get out of cable. I took a desk job. It didn't work out. I got downsized, and then after I got downsized, I got pretty frustrated with the situation. I lived in Ohio at the time, and I had been doing cable for 6-7 years, 80 hours a week, 6 or 7 days a week, depending on the need of the company. I didn't have a lot of time for the family. I didn't have a lot of time for myself, and I didn't have a lot of money on top of that. So I wanted to change, and I took a desk job, hoping that that would be my future. And it was a short-lived future because in February, 3 months later, I was downsized. That led to me driving home and having one of the worst conversations with my wife ever, which took about a minute to have. And that is why she was standing over the dishes in our home, because we had a house that didn't have a dishwashing machine. She had to hand wash the dishes. And I told her I had lost my job. I didn't do anything wrong to lose the job, but that didn't make any difference. You know, I remember her looking over my shoulder at our daughter who was in the high chair and then looking back at me with that look of what are we going to do now? But she didn't say anything. She just teared up and turned back to the dishes and kept washing. And I felt about 2 inches tall when she did that because I felt the most out of control I had ever been in my life. And so that frustration led to me grabbing my PC and trying to figure out a way to make money from home. I didn't care what it was. I was borderline entertaining illegal stuff because I was that desperate. And I ended up finding a mentor by the name of Cedric Harris, who lives here in Tampa, Florida, and he decided to take me under his wing and teach me how to make money from my computer. At that time, I didn't know anything about making money from a computer. The only thing I had ever done was get on my computer to check my email and play Yahoo Spades. That was it. But Cedric told me that he could teach me how to make money on the internet, and I'm the kind of guy that if you tell me how to do something, I'm going to get it done. And that was pretty much my attitude. I didn't know anything at all. When I got on Hangouts like this and there was talk about money or traffic or business, I was like listening to a foreign language. I did not understand it. It frustrated me. It took a long time for me to really figure out what was really going on. It's just so far outside of my knowledge base and my skill set. But I worked hard. I committed myself. I worked a lot of long hours to really understand my foundation. And then once I got the foundation, I just ran as hard as I could. So in 2009, I launched a book called The LinkedIn Lead Generation Blueprint. The book took off. In September of that year, I sold about 500 copies almost in like 2 hours. By the end of that year, I joined a network marketing company that specialized in the sale of certified gold and silver coins, collectible coins. In a month from the time I signed up, I became the #1 income earner in that company in the state of Ohio. And I held that title for 8 months until I relocated my entire family to Florida, because on the heels of the momentum, I was able to do that. I had enough money to do it. So we had a big lifestyle upgrade. I came to Columbus. The company that I was with decided to close its doors. I moved on to another network marketing company. I became a very high income earning producer in that company as well. Very high up there. Not the top guy, but I was doing pretty good. And then I ended up backing into coaching. You know, because of my presence on the internet, I was contacted by a lot of marketers across different companies for help on how to become more successful at recruiting, talking on the phone, etc. And then that backed into my coaching career that I have today. To date, I've coached over 150 people in the last 2 years, all over the United States, some outside of the United States, in all type of situations. Today, I kind of focus on producers, you know, not just people who are getting started, but I do try to work with anybody that wants to work with me. So that's kind of the backstory of where I am. I know what it's like to have a $17,000, $18,000, $20,000 day. I know what it's like to have $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 months. That shouldn't be, for those of you that are here listening to me and want to be financially successful, that shouldn't scare you. You know, those numbers should actually excite you. But as we move into this conversation about money and the money blueprint, I believe it's important to talk about fear, first of all. Because deep down inside of me, I had some fears as it related to making money. I come from a blue-collar background. I was in cable. My dad was a factory worker. My mother was a bus driver. My sister works at a children's correctional institute. You know, my uncle was a city worker. So that's all I grew up around. So money was not a conversation around the table, and we didn't understand money. And when I realized that I was capable of making a lot of money, fear rose up. I don't know why, but it did. And it held its grip on me for over a decade. From all of my 20s, I couldn't really turn the corner and make money because I was afraid to. And I want to help you understand what really is going on with that. Now, I want a couple disclaimers on how I speak. First of all, sometimes I get emotional. So if I get excited or I start crying, Roger's seen it all from me. That's just my style. I hope that's all right with you. All right. The second thing is I do weave in my story quite a bit, and that will probably trigger some emotions. And then thirdly, as I feel is relevant, I may mention a few scriptures, you know, just because for me, the foundation of my growth, the foundation of my financial success comes from God and my study of the Word of God, along with the study of financial materials and mindset materials, etc. It deserves its place, just like Robert Kiyosaki or Suze Orman or whoever I might mention tonight. The Bible deserves its place. So I'm not a preacher, but I'm just letting you know now I may mention some scripture. As a matter of fact, I'm going to mention one right now as it relates to fear. 2 Timothy 1:7, it says that for God didn't give you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So I want to help you understand how I was able to overcome fear. When I read that scripture and it says God didn't give me a spirit of fear, I recognized in that moment that fear is not an emotion. Fear is not an emotion. Fear is a spirit. Fear is a presence. It's a spirit without a body. You know, you and I are spirit beings with a body. Well, fear, the Bible says that He didn't give me a spirit of fear, not an emotion. So I'll get to what the emotions mean. But the first thing I had to recognize is that there is something of a greater force on the outside of me whose job it is to deter me from my mission, my plan, my purpose, my goals. And when I started to fear money, and I understood that fear was no longer an emotion, I realized that there was something trying to stop me from getting to what God ultimately wanted me to have. Because God promised me prosperity in His Word. He promised provision, protection, and peace. And so when I understood that fear was not an emotion, that it was a spirit, I had to ask myself, well, what am I feeling? What is this feeling that I've always associated with fear? And the answer came to me like this. Like I'm in one of the rooms in my house here, and every room has a smoke detector in it. I'm sure you have the same thing in your house. And that smoke detector is designed to protect you from a fire. But most importantly, it's there to catch smoke before your nose does. And so what happens when smoke is in the air? The alarm goes off. And you go, well, there's something burning that I can't smell, but I need to address it. So the point is this: the emotions that we feel on the inside that we associate with fear is our smoke detector to let us know that the presence, the spirit of fear, is in our atmosphere and is trying to talk to us and get us to believe a lie. Myron Golden says it this way. He said, doubt and fear is belief in the word of your enemy. So you have an adversary, an enemy that is attempting to railroad you from getting what it is that you are deserving of. It undermines your efforts. It undermines your work. And if you're not able to recognize that there is a force that's working against me, then how will you be able to fight against it? So now that I recognize that there's a force that's working against me and my smoke alarm is telling me it's here, I'm driving down the street and I'm thinking about building out a process, and I start to get these feelings. I'm like, well, what do you know? Fear's in the car with me, buckled in next to my kids, or I might get ready to get on a speaking engagement. I start to get that feeling going. It's like it's trying to take away my power. Now, we're not talking about the fear that if a dog is standing in front of you that wants to bite you fear. That's a horse of another color. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when you sit down in front of your computer and you go to pick up the phone to call a lead and you feel that feeling, there is no reason why you should fear the person on the other end of the phone. None at all. But because we're listening to that spirit talk to us, it rises up those emotions and we subsequently move in the direction that we don't want to go. So the second thing that you have to do with fear is not only recognize it, first of all, you got to speak against it. So whatever you're feeling and hearing in your heart, you have to learn how to speak against it out loud. You have to be able to say, when you're feeling like, man, I'm afraid to call these leads, I had to learn how to say out loud with my phone in my ear while the phone is ringing, Larry, it's okay to talk to this lead. This lead needs what you have. Focus. Whether they say yes or no, it doesn't matter. You're a step closer to building your business. I had to do that with my phone on calls. And then the third thing that I had to learn how to do is take a step in the direction of my faith. Take a step in the direction of where I really wanted to go. And it becomes a habit. And so now you become courageous. You may not necessarily become fearless. Courageous is feeling the fear, feeling the presence of it, and doing what you need to do anyway. So I want you to know tonight that if you're feeling afraid of success, feeling afraid of prosperity and wealth, the good news is you can overcome that by recognizing that it's not you. You're under attack, and you can fight back. You can fight back tonight, starting tonight. So that's the first thing I want to tell you about fear, and I hope that touched somebody. The second thing I want to tell you about money is that money is the direct representation of the value that you give to the marketplace. When you hear people say things like money isn't everything, in other words, what they're saying is I have no value really to give the world, so I don't expect any money in return. So you have to become a master at giving value to the marketplace. It can't be about you making money. And I know that most of us write down goals to make money. I want to make $100,000 a year. I want to make $250,000 a year. The problem with that is focusing on money is the wrong focus. It's the byproduct. Money is the byproduct of value that you deliver to the marketplace. Myron, and I'm going to mention Myron again. He's my primary mentor today. He says, when you are really good at what you do and you make a lot of money at it, it's because you have revealed the value so well that people are happy and sometimes anxious and excited to give you money in exchange for it. And you're able to do that because you increase your knowledge, you increase your skill, and you increase your confidence in what it is that you do. And that resonates from within. But you have to become committed to developing. You have to become committed to developing. I think about Solomon in the Bible. God had promised Solomon great wealth because Solomon didn't want wealth. That was the last thing he wanted. He asked for wisdom, and he was given that wisdom, and great wealth came to him. But if you go study Solomon, you will discover that the great wealth that was given to Solomon was from the nations of the world because of his wisdom, and they wanted it. They kept hearing about how wise he was, and they would give anything they could for it. So think about yourself. Think about what happened yesterday or even today in the level of value that you delivered to the marketplace. Who right now is beating down your email trying to get to you? Who is calling your phone or texting you or on Facebook trying to get to you because they heard about your value? Who's doing that? Who's hitting you up saying, I spent all night long watching your YouTube channel. I couldn't get enough. Who's listening to your audios right now? Who's replaying the webinars and things that you've been participating on? Who's all over your blog reading your content because it's that freaking good? that can't get enough of it. And when you go to make an offer of any type, the sense of reciprocity rises up in them. And they say, man, I just got to give this person money. I want you to think about double doors. When you walk in a restaurant, you got the outer door and you got the door to go in. And if you are walking ahead of somebody and you hold the door for them, what happens when they walk through? They hold the door for you. It's just natural to balance it out. You do something for somebody, they feel obligated to reciprocate. So in the marketplace, you want to be that person. You want to open doors left and right for people. You want to keep opening doors, keep opening doors. It's not about the money, it's about opening doors. Open the door to somebody learning more about Facebook marketing. Open the door to teach somebody more about how they can blog at a higher level. Open the door to teach somebody how to overcome their fear or their challenges or their self-esteem or their issues. Open doors. Just open doors. And if you open enough doors for people, it's going to be almost impossible for money not to come your way. It's just the way it is. Just the way it is. I want you to, as we go on tonight, think about how you're feeling about what you're learning. Because I guarantee you, and this is not arrogance, this is just a fact, you will want to find out who I am. And you'll want to find out who anybody is when they touch your heart with real value. The next thing you'll do is go, let me go Google Larry Beacham and see what I find. And again, I know that because that is my focus, is giving value. People will look up Roger, they'll look up Keisha, they'll look up Yamina, because we give value, and it activates something in somebody that says, I gotta give them something. If nothing else, I'm gonna give them my time first, my time and my eyes and my ears to what they have. I'm gonna give that first. I gotta give them something for what they gave me. And over time, if you build up a large enough audience, those people will be easy to give money to when you make an offer. Now, once you start getting the value, you have to learn how to systematically be able to accept the money. I can't tell you the number of people who I have coached who have all of the skill, all of the knowledge, have given amazing value, but when it comes to taking money, they all of a sudden got bumblebees in their mouth. They just lose their mind. You have to get comfortable with receiving money. You have to be okay with receiving a lot of money. You have to get comfortable with that. You have to, I can't stress that enough. You have to get comfortable with somebody saying, I want to give you $1,000. That's all I got. What can you do for me? And you not talk yourself out of receiving the $1,000 or the $5,000 or the $100. You have to get to the place that it's okay to let them pay you. I tell one of my buddy, Chris Davis, he's a minister, and I was telling him, man, you got to get to the point where you say to yourself, it's okay to ask them to pay. It really is. That's like a hashtag. It's okay that's a long one, but it is okay to ask them to pay. You have delivered value to the marketplace. Why shouldn't you get paid for it? Everybody listening to me tonight is Delatoro McNeil. I got this from him. Best-selling author, motivational speaker Delatoro McNeil says this, that you are the aspirin to someone's headache. You are the aspirin to someone's headache. And I add to that, if you're the aspirin to somebody's headache, the last time I checked, aspirin, you can't get for free. You have to buy that. So if I have a headache and I walk into the pharmacy and I grab a bottle of aspirin and try to leave without paying for it, I'm going to get arrested for shoplifting. So if you are delivering value to the marketplace and you're causing relief and helping people out, you should want money for that. You should want a lot of money for that. So you got to get to the place where you believe that you deserve prosperity. You got to stop listening to the lie that you're humble if you don't have any money. You got to stop listening to the lie that you're better off if you don't have a whole lot, because you don't want people to think that you're greedy or you're taking from somebody. The foundation of the world is prosperity, not poverty, not lack. But we've been fed that lie. And you have to do the work to get to the place when you get out of bed, you do what I do. And I say, today I'm going to take all the money that's offered to me. I'm going to take it all. I'm going to take it in whatever form they want to give it to me. I'm going to take all money. And I'm going to wake up selling. I'm going to take all money and I'm going to wake up selling. When I say wake up selling, that means every single day, and this is something that you have to learn how to do to make money, you got to be able to offer something for people to buy. Now, sometimes that's not always a product. I'm selling myself by way of what I'm teaching. I'm selling myself by way of what I'm giving away. I'm selling myself by who I serve. I'm selling myself all the time. I'm going to sell something. Somebody's going to buy something from Larry Beacham every single day. I'm going to offer something and they're going to give me something in exchange for it. And it's a transaction. And if I can transact every single day, eventually I'm going to transact into money. It's just no way around that. Roger, I'm going to take a breath and give you guys an opportunity to maybe jump in and share some thoughts. I don't want to just go for a straight hour, but I want to give you an opportunity to kind of weave in and out of what I'm saying and just tell me and maybe others what you're getting out of what I'm saying so far. So I'm going to pass it back to all of y'all, then y'all can pass it back to me.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. I mean, and it's funny, man. We got the Facebook airways just buzzing now, man. Getting your quotables out there, put some hashtags on there, man. Giving you, of course, the credit, man, because these words are prophetic, man. It's awesome to hear. Just not only the humility, but just the vision of not only where you've been, but ultimately where you desire to be. Because I mean, there's so much, man, and I've been following you, man, for years, since you've been online, and I've seen the progression of where not only your communication styles have dramatically just exploded, but people genuinely like you because of who you are, and that has a lot to do with your success, is because you treat people as people. And that's really a true indicator of somebody that's truly wealthy. It's not just this, it's this. It's the 6 inches between your ears. And it's this, it's the heart. Okay? The heart governs everything. In fact, from electricity perspective, when people do the defibrillator, that right there produces more magnetic than anything else. So it's not this only, it's this. So, but if this is weak, then this doesn't operate. If this is weak, this doesn't operate. And so what we want to do tonight is give you guys a perspective on what it really means to be free. Because money's one thing, but freedom is another. You see, I know many people that work in Wall Street, and Keisha was a very successful corporate executive. She'll tell you her story here in a minute about somebody that made a lot of money, but had no time. And we call this the Empowered Lifestyle Hour. Think about what that means to you. It means given the ability to live on your own terms without the restraints or constraints of everyday life. What would money mean to you? Because money is just a piece of paper, and it literally has no value until it is exchanged for goods and services or intrinsic value given to the marketplace. Okay? And so people say, well, I want a lot of money. I want a lot of money. No, you want what the money will do for you. There's a difference. And so I want to pass it on to Keisha. I want her to share some words because her story can resonate with a lot of people. And so Keisha, go ahead and share some insight into that because I think we're on a roll tonight.
Sure. It's interesting. I'm gonna apologize in the beginning. My head was like this the whole time, like, oh my god, and I didn't even catch everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, I guess I'm just gonna have to look at the video over again. And whoever's not on this, I don't know, but we might have to put this in a vault, and bring it out later, because I mean, I'm just gushing over here. I feel like I can just run a marathon right now, with so much information. Matter of fact, I feel like I can go write like 1,000 blog posts just off of the little information that we got right now. So, I mean, I don't know about y'all. I know in the chat, some of y'all are like, awesome. I mean, thanks for the comments, y'all. But like, we want to hear your thoughts too. We want to hear if you have any questions for Larry too. Just let us know. Roger, thank you so much for passing it over to me. My story is this. I'm not married. I'm single. I don't have any children. But I found myself in a place where I was broke, but I was living the life like I had it all together. And really, I was just really living paycheck to paycheck at the end of the day. There was at one point my silly self went out and got a Lexus where I already had one other car. I went out and got this Lexus because I just wanted it so bad. and ended up having to sell it because I just couldn't afford it. And it was taxing on me. And so I found myself in a place where, I was always under, and, I was looking for a place to be able to call my own. I was looking for something that would provide for me the purpose that I had in my life. And the reason why I say that is because, one of the things that Larry has told me on a conversation we had for hours is stop focusing on the money. And he is so right about that. Just stop focusing on the money. Stop focusing on the money. Bring the value. I made the type of money that I made in corporate America because of my value. From year to year, my skills increased, so my value went up, so I could command more money. But when we come here, we're sitting, and I've heard stories. I coach people on a daily basis, and I keep hearing the stories. I lost everything, and I was this, and I was this, and I was this, and I was this. And when they come online, they're coming, from a place of I've been making six figures, for the past umpteen years, and now I have nothing. And they're in this weird place where I can't resonate why on earth I'm not still making six figures, even though I'm in a different space. I'm in a different industry. And I found myself in that place, and I found a home. I found a company, and I found a family, I'll say a community, where I could really call my own. And we'll talk about that a little bit later tonight. But for those of you out there who are feeling the pressure of corporate America, who are feeling the pressure of not being where you should be, because I felt that way too. Coming home crying, talking about I don't feel like making my 6,000 plus 6,000 plus anymore a month. If you're feeling the pressure of wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, for instance, or wanting to take your family out to wherever you want to travel to, just if you're feeling those pressures, one of the things we invite you to do is to join us and to click the link below to join us. If you can resonate out there, it's really about increasing your value. It's about increasing the value that you bring to the marketplace, and you can find a community that you can link into. And so I found that community, and I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for it being available to me. And right now, I'm living my dream. I am completely living my dreams. And not only that, and I'll tell you why I'm living my dreams. I'm living my dreams because I'm doing what I want to do. I have been out of corporate America for almost 3 years now. It'll be maybe it's two full years plus. Now, let's see. I'm in school. I'm looking to become a doctor, and that's what I love, And I found that, and I found my purpose through the community, that you'll get involved in if you allow it to resonate and then allow it to become a part of you too. So, again, for anybody who is out there who is feeling the pressure of not wanting to be where they are and feel like they should be somewhere else, get involved in our community, and we'll be happy to welcome you. But yeah, I'm going to turn it back over to Roger and or some of our other hosts out there. What did you think about what Larry said tonight?
I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. So I want to pass it on to Victoria next. Sis, your passion was again very, very eminent last week. And I'm sure you've got some insight that you could share with our wonderful viewers out there, wondering, what is this truly for me? Allow them to, partake in your particular insight.
I'm just still in awe from what Larry was talking about, and I was listening to Keisha, and she just dumped right on top of what he was saying. And so I just wanted to kind of, go right after Keisha and say that, when she was saying about how she was coaching people and they had, they kind of were envious of their old lives as far as how much money they were making and how much more valuable they were when they were working for someone else. And I just kind of wanted to say, just because you stopped working for somebody else doesn't mean that your value decreased any less. It doesn't mean that you get paid, that in your head you don't deserve to get paid at that same level. If you were working for someone else and they saw enough value in you to pay you at a 6-figure level or even a 5-figure level, then you need to know that you still deserve that. Just because you start working for yourself doesn't mean that you deserve to be paid any less than someone else was willing to pay you. And I kind of wanted to go back off of what Larry was saying, and I think the most important thing that when people start working for themselves, they get too focused and caught up in the money. And the most important thing, it's so funny, this is something that Larry taught me as well, that when you focus on the goal, the money will come. If your goal is to make money, then you kind of get lost up in other things because there's so many things that you can do to make money. So it's kind of confusing to say that, oh, my goal is to make this amount of money. And when he said that, having a certain income amount every month or wanting to reach a certain thing every month shouldn't be the goal, because there's so many ways to reach that. But when you focus, when you focus in, I mean having a laser focus to the point where if anything comes into your view, your blinders will block it. And when you become laser focused on getting the goal or the results that you want that are not monetary, the money will flow into your life. Because once you, like everyone has said, once you start giving the level of value that people want to seek and people desire in their life, they'll throw the money at you. But it's all about focusing not on making the money, but getting to that outcome that you want in your life. And so that's really all that I wanted to share with you guys right now, just so that we can get back to Larry, because I'm over here taking my notes. And, people pay him a lot of money for this time, so I'm trying to take advantage of this free 99 right here. So I'm going back over to Roger. I don't know if Yamina had anything else to say.
Yeah, Yamina, go ahead. Go ahead, sis. Share your insight.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off of what Larry and Victoria was saying in regards to everyone's so focused on the money. The money is going to come. You have to get the skills first before you can get to the money. You have to increase your value, and you have to increase your skills. I remember my background is cosmetology, but I remember when I first started, it's like when you first start learning a new skill, and of course doing hair or barbering or anything like that is a skill, right? And I came in under another hairstylist, and she got people lining up for her to do their hair, and she wasn't the greatest hairstylist. Her haircuts was good. She was a little nice and everything, but I'm thinking, wow, why is everybody want to see her? Everybody walking. I'm waiting for her. I'm like, what is she doing? And I'm watching her, I'm watching her skills, how she works with people and things like that. And then so it was finally my turn to get my own chair, and of course they're giving me the walk-ins and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just still watching her, and I'm like, wow, I want to be like that, So of course she took me under her wings and stuff like that. But the point is, the owner said, I was complaining about how I don't have enough clients, I'm not making enough money, blah, blah, blah. And he just told me straight off, you know what? You get your skills down and the money will come. I will never forget him saying that. So, I worked on my skills, got better at doing hair. Next thing you know, me and her were, at it. I was up there right there with her as far as, clientele and stuff like that. So just to give a little story, guys, you have to get the skills and the money will come. The money will come. So stop focusing, like everyone's saying, stop focusing on the money. Increase your value, increase your skills, help other people, open the doors for other people, and the money will come. So I just wanted to, piggyback off of that, because that kind of stands out with me a lot as I, go on my ventures and what I'm doing. I will never forget him saying that to me. But it's so true. It's so true. And it's not just, in hair, it's just in business in general. So I just wanted to put that out there. So thank you.
No problem. Not a problem at all.
Roger, hey, can I share a story I
Please.
had today? It'll be quick.
Please.
Some of the coaching clients that I have, I heard from a guy today, and he sent me an email, and it was when Larry was talking about fear. It was very direct, and he said in his email, "I am fearful. I am afraid to get started." And he said it that dramatically. Now, no one has ever said to me that I mean, people may express their fear in maybe avoiding something or doing something else, but never so direct. And he said by saying I'm fearful. He said I'm afraid to step out. He said I'm afraid to take a leap of faith. And my heart dropped. I mean, I was bothered for a little while after that email, because I'd never had anybody say that directly to me before, that I'm fearful. And I was like, how could you give that much power over to 4 letters? And so, it was really sad. So I responded basically back to him and said, you should never allow, you have too much going for you, and you have so much to offer, and there are people that are counting on you. So, we're not in this world, as islands unto ourselves. There are people that are counting on us to be successful. And I said to him, you being successful in whatever you do can also matriculate out to your family. So, imagine what your family will see, and how they'll feel, and how they'll be the beneficiaries of your success. They're going to become successful because they see that success on you. So I just wanted to share that, that fear is real. And well, I'm not going to say it's real. It's out there, and that it can be overcome. And we got some nuggets today on how we can overcome that fear. So it's done. It's done. So back over to you, Roger.
Awesome. Great insight. Larry, let's talk about how people look at money, from a money blueprint perspective. And that term obviously is from T.R. Becker, but it's applicable to any universal entrepreneurial venture. When you consider people's perception of money, and we're just talking about money itself at this point, the management or lack thereof of money. When you see a person like Myron Golden, very, very successful entrepreneur, talk about money in a way where it's just painting a vision for what's possible from an impact perspective, I admire Myron very, very much so in his work and in the things that he's done in business. What's your perception when you hear the word money blueprint, and how can people alter their paradigm in a way, not even from tonight only, because obviously this is just an hour show, but how can people start taking the steps moving forward to alter their money blueprint?
Well, for me, that's a very clear first step, and that is literacy. It's literacy.
Mm-hmm.
We can read words, but very few people can read numbers. I mean, they know what the numbers are, but literacy, and when it comes to money, is the foundation. Here's a literacy test. It's somewhat of a literacy test, but I want you to take this literacy test. I want you to turn on CNN, Financial Channel, and listen. And if you get lost or you get distracted, you start looking around trying to find something else to do, it's because you're not literate or you're not comprehending what's going on. You can't really understand the significance to you what they're talking about, whatever they may be talking about. So as much time as we spend trying to learn how to get more leads, recruit more people, for those of you in that type of opportunity, as much time as we spend trying to go out to networking events to learn how to smile and be personable, as much effort as we put into doing those kinds of things, what percentage of your day is devoted to financial literacy? What does the word savings actually mean? What does it really mean? What does the word interest rate actually mean, and how does it apply to you? What does return on investment actually mean, and what does that mean to you? So I could go on and on, but literacy, the basics of financial literacy, have to be integrated into your daily study habits. Take 15 minutes a day and study money. I know that sounds overly simplified, but I'm almost totally sure that most of the people, I can't say all, because obviously that's never usually the case, but most of the people in the last 24 hours did not increase their financial literacy at all. At all. Let alone talking about stocks and options and those kinds of things. Basic financial literacy. We're talking about elementary stewardship. What is stewardship? Stewardship means that you have authority over something that was given to you, owned by someone else. That's what stewardship is. So I operate from the principle in my life that it's not mine anyway. I'm a manager of it. And to what degree of a manager that I prove myself to be, the owner of the material is going to look at my effort, look at my work, how I not only take care of what I'm given, but how I manage and grow it, and how I use it to benefit the world, is going to say, phenomenal job, let me now open the door for more. So literacy has to be the foundation, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be smarter about what money is all about. Ron Blue has a book called Master Your Money. Larry Burkett, Dave Ramsey, Suze Orman, Robert Kiyosaki, there's tons of authors in the financial space. So increase your literacy. Know what money really is, how it works. Go sit down in a bank and talk to a banker about money. Here's a fun little thing you can do. Now, I'm gonna add this just kind of as a fun thing to do. Go and sit down with a bank and say, and you can do this with a couple. Go there and say, look, I would like to deposit $100,000 into your bank, and I want to know what kind of services do you offer for someone with a deposit of $100,000 or $500,000, and go in there like you actually have it. And what you're going to hear is going to shock you. What kind of service they actually give people that have that kind of money on deposit. And you need to be expanded in that way so that you come home and go, I need to grab a book on money so I can figure out how to get that service they're talking about. Find out how they lower interest rates for people like you. Find out how they give you special treatment that they wouldn't give the over-the-counter person that keeps overdrawing their checking account to the bank. Stuff like that. Just get literate. And don't be in a hurry. I mean, if it takes you all of the rest of 2015 to get literate, then that's fine. But we gotta, and so Roger, I'm gonna pass it back to you, but I want to add this second thing is, don't be in a hurry. Everybody is in, so we've been talking about let's work on value, and I already know that there's somebody, man, look, I want to learn how to make some money fast. I got my bills to pay. I got to do whatever. That's fine, but as long as that's your attitude, you're gonna stay where you are. Slow down a little bit. Slow down to speed up. What's it going to hurt you to take 15 minutes out of your day to learn something more about money that you didn't know, that you can go out and be better? Slow down. Slow down. Real quick, one third thing. I said two, but it's a third thing. Challenge when you get literate and you slow down, start challenging yourself on the things that you just let money go easily for. Packs of gum, driving through a drive-through. You're walking through the mall and you just got to have those shoes or whatever. You got to challenge yourself on the consumerism attitude that we have been indoctrinated to have. And you got to be producer oriented versus consumer oriented. You got to learn how to get real stingy with the little bit of money that you have. Those pennies add up to nickels, they add up to dimes, they add up to quarters, they add up to dollars. And you got to learn how to discipline yourself and fight the urge to just give it to people. So those are the three things, just elementary things, but very profound. If you decide to take advantage of it, 10, 15 minutes a day to increase your basic literacy will revolutionize your money by the time this year is over with. Back to you, Raj.
It's funny. I use a phrase when I work with clients called the financial junk drawer, and all it means is that people have a mixed match of stuff that they've accumulated throughout their life. So areas in risk management, areas in savings, like you had mentioned, and all the investment, arenas that we speak of, from bonds to stocks to managed portfolios to real estate, you name it, collectibles, whatever the case may be. And I say to people, and I jokingly say this, I was like, some people's closets look like a junk drawer too, because they just have all this stuff they've accumulated. And it's amazing to me how somebody that could make a lot of money, three, four, five, maybe even more, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, have a very, very poor literacy aspect to themselves. They know how to make money. And that's one element behind it, ladies and gentlemen. You can make two, three, $4 million a year. But I will tell you, the majority of the people that make that type of money per year, okay, have a very strong money blueprint. They're very efficient with money. Money is like fuel. It's like a Maserati without no fuel. Okay? If you don't have enough fuel going into your life, aka savings, then you are deficient. And I will underline that in bold letters. You are deficient. Okay? And so one of the things that I always like to tell people, especially entrepreneurs, it's funny, Larry, I was talking to a client one time, and we were talking about taxes. And as entrepreneurs, man, that's an area that is absolutely just completely, like foreign language, like Chinese arithmetic. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I made, $250,000 this year, but I owe whatever amount of money to the IRS. Well, because you are a spendthrift, their money blueprint was poor. Okay, because they indoctrinated different disciplines over the course of time, that it perpetuated that habit. Okay, and so what we're trying to relate to you guys is that it's not about the amount of money that you earn, it's about the amount of money that you keep. Very, very simple. And so to establish a money blueprint that is efficient and effective, it comes down, like Larry talked about, from a literacy perspective and understanding how the puppet strings work. And the thing is, your financial life is like a symphony. Okay? If the symphony had one note that was completely just off, if the conductor just went ahead and threw his hands in the air like this, the symphony is absolutely garbage, because guess what? They're looking at the conductor. Well, guess what? I would highly advise that you get with the appropriate counsel and get with somebody that's a professional and helping you to give you sense of how your money works. Okay? This is not a commercial for me. This is a commercial for just period in entrepreneurship. I want to make sure that if you're a person that's on this line tonight, that you start learning this stuff like Larry touched on, and even if it took you to 2015 to start learning this and be proficient at it, then do it. Because guess what? You can make 50 grand a month. You can make 100 grand a month. But guess what? You're going to be broke on a higher level forever until you start getting this.
Hey, Roger, you mind if I jump in and say a couple of things about that? Okay.
Please.
So what I want you guys to really get from what we're trying to communicate is you have always had in your hands the ability, those of you that have a job, and it doesn't matter how much you make an hour, you have always had the resources provided for wealth. But what you lack is an understanding of how to redistribute that wealth. Some of you are living in a house that's too big, and you won't sell the house or move to get financially in the right situation because of pride, because of status. You just won't do it. Some of you are driving a vehicle that you shouldn't be driving. Why? Because of all the things I just said right now. You get caught up, and you got to get healed of that. You got to humble yourself to a place where you can be okay. And I want to give you a quick story. I saw a video of a gentleman, older gentleman, who had been parking cars for 40 years and never made over $18,000 a year. But he has a net worth of over $500,000, like liquid cash. And he is working in one of those booths in a parking garage, and was actually giving financial advice to the people that he was parking cars for, and some of them were executives. And so the guy that was interviewing him went and he pulled out his financial records, and he had all types of stocks and all, and his whole strategy was a buy and hold strategy for stocks. And he had gotten so good at that that he amassed a $500,000 in liquid cash on top of his asset portfolio. And then he ended up starting a little investment club at his church. Now, this guy's not an educated financial planner. He doesn't have a certification. He doesn't have any kind of licenses. He's somebody that understood the principles that we're trying to convey. That you don't have to have a lot. You just have to be willing to do the basic disciplines, make the proper sacrifices, and be focused on the long term in some cases, and get to that point. How would you like to be able to have $500,000 saved up? Well, it's kind of a shot in all of our faces for those of us that make over $18,000 a year. That's basically the poverty level. The poverty level, right? But this guy understood the principles. He understood so every single dollar that he got, there's only 100 pennies in a dollar, okay? And I know that sounds so, Larry, yes, I know that. But what you don't get is the distribution of how those 100 pennies are across your life and across whatever you do with those 100 pennies. And you got to learn how to take those 100 pennies from that $1 and build on that. And if you can't do it on the money you got right now, it's going to be hell for you to do it with more. And if you're not careful, you can get into trouble, like Roger was saying. So I want you to really get this. This is the part in the conversation that people start yawning and wandering off. But this is why they're where they are. They want excitement. They want this fantasy world. But really, like I was reading, I think it's The Millionaire Next Door. And he talked about the wealth is boring. Building wealth is actually boring and mundane if you do it right. It really is. It's not extravagant. It's not exciting. It's not flashy. That's what we've been sold. But it's not. It's none of those things. It's not the car in the driveway. It's not. It's the stock that the car company that you own. That's really where the wealth is. It's not the big house you're living in. You know what I mean? It's the asset of having an apartment complex in your portfolio.
Yes.
And you don't have to have that today, but what you have to have today, starting today, is an understanding of that dollar. You should take a dollar out and look at it and ask yourself, if I was down to my last dollar and Donald Trump was down to his last dollar and we were standing shoulder to shoulder, what would Donald Trump be thinking about? And what would I be thinking about? And y'all walk off.
Powerful.
Back to you, bro.
Powerful, man. Because here's the thing. Donald Trump went from billionaire to broke and then back to billionaire. How does that happen? How does that happen? It happens because his money blueprint was refined from the get-go. And the thing is, like Larry just mentioned something so profound, and I hope you caught it. He said, unless you're willing to be a steward of what you have now and be the greatest steward of what you have now, I don't care if it's a little bit. Because, you know what, and I'll be transparent. I got in a situation, about 5-6 years ago, where I spent a ton on credit cards to the tune of almost $30,000. And because my mental blueprint, my money blueprint was horrible. It was poor. I was making great money, but the thing is I was spending way much more. It took that experience for me to understand how things work, how things truly work. And the thing is, I want to help you prevent that in your life. Because if you're an entrepreneur and you're making great money or you're just starting out, you need to hear these types of things, because it's not just about money or marketing or whatever the case may be, all the other topics that we'll talk about later. So this is truly a foundational and groundbreaking type of topic, because many people don't want to talk about it because it's boring, it's mundane, and the thing is, it's taboo because it makes people nervous. And here's a book that I want you guys to pick up. Tony Robbins' new book, Mastering the Money Game. Now that book right there will change your paradigm. People like Frank Kern, and people of that ilk are just, why does Frank Kern make over $6 million a year? Because his money blueprint, his mental blueprint, is such at a high level that the average person can't even think. Now, for me personally, I'm not at that level. I'm striving to get to that level. But for each and every one of you guys, and for all of us all together, we have work to do in that regard, because that's never a process that stops. So I wanted to leave it for Victoria and Yamina to kind of share some words, and then we'll kind of part ways with some final commentary. Anybody? Hello?
Well, they're just looking at us,
I'm
Roger.
taking it all in, man. I got my notes going. I mean, there's not too much more to say than what's already been said. So, Yamina, if you have anything else to add, then we can go on over to you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean, that was just phenomenal. The money blueprint, guys. You really have, like Larry was saying, you don't know what you don't know. And people really need to stop thinking that, getting rich or getting wealthy is so glamorous, because it's not. Like Larry said, a lot of people riding around in cars that they know they shouldn't have, that they know they can't pay for. And then they're, robbing Paul to pay Peter just to pay the car note or pay the, car insurance, but they won't get rid of it because they want to still look good. I saw a saying, people worrying about looking like money instead of having money, So no, this was very insightful for me, guys, as well. I learned a lot from you, Larry. Thank you so much for coming out here and just sharing your wealth of knowledge with us this evening. So I really enjoyed having you out, and we look forward to seeing you out again with us. So that's really my little 2 cents.
Awesome. Well, guys, we want to tell you thank you for partaking in today's show. If you guys like this show and you guys like what we've been sharing with you and want to become part of our community, simply click the link below and you can partake in our community. And what we are is the most connected, okay? I was like most connected and the fastest growing internet marketing community on the planet, okay? And on the internet for that matter. And so what we do is we teach people, entrepreneurs or even people that are aspiring to be entrepreneurs, how they can actually turn their passion and turn it into profits. So if you're looking to really get hold of that, maybe you've got some ideas to write a cookbook and you just don't know how to market it, and you want to learn, you want to be around some bright, very, very progressive-minded people. Well, all I want you to do is very, very simple, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to click that link below and get started with our team. Because our team is a collective a group of visionaries that what we're looking for is people that, number one, understand that they're trying to break out and be the best versions of themselves. If that is you and that's calling you right now, all I want you to do is make a very, very simple decision, okay? There's a link below, okay? And it's flashing right in front of your eyes. All I want you to do is click that, because I tell you, one of the things that we'll do is we'll pop on together and we'll talk about whatever it is that you're passionate about. How can we position you to start making money here with our community? That's all we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. And if you like what you hear, continue to plug back in, continue to share the word, share this word on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Let people know that we exist, and the Empowered Lifestyle Hour is the preeminent lifestyle hangout on the internet. So with that said, Larry, thank you so much, my brother. You are definitely one of a kind, and definitely somebody that we look up to. We definitely appreciate you here tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity to sow some seeds, and just believe in faith that people will take seriously something that we shared and decide that it's worth it to add to their knowledge or their skill set so they can take their business and their life to the next level. So that's it for now. Thank you, sir.
Larry, do you have anything that you want to offer just as a bonus or no?
Well, I have an motivational message called Come to the Table Ready to Win. It's a motivational message that I deliver to try to tap into the champion on the inside of you. My brand is Champion Builder. So it's about a 15-minute audio. I think everybody, or several other people on the panel tonight have heard it. So I'd like to offer that to you. It's just a free download. I'd strongly recommend, if you want to get fired up, I'm sure Victoria or even Keisha could tell you about it. But anyway, go ahead to LarryBeacham.com/dreamteam and you can download it today. No obligation, nothing to buy. It's just my gift to you tonight to help push you to your next level. So there you have it, LarryBeacham.com/dreamteam.
Excellent. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, take care. God bless, and we'll see every one of you guys on the beaches of the world, and definitely on our next show next Thursday night. God bless.
Good night, y'all.
Night night.
Good night.